How does a player who rarely dribbles past defenders, who isn't the fastest, who doesn't score every single week, somehow end up controlling almost every game he plays? That's the mystery of Rodri. Watch him for 90 minutes and you might think he had a quiet game. No flashy skills, no unnecessary tricks, nothing that immediately grabs your attention. Yet ask his teammates, ask his managers, or even ask the players who have to play against him, and they'll all tell you the same thing. Everything goes through Rodri. So what are we all missing? Because clearly, the best managers in the world keep seeing something that millions of football fans don't. And that's exactly what we're uncovering today. By the end of this video, you'll uncover the 3 attributes that make Rodri one of the smartest midfielders of this generation. Once you understand them, you won't just see Rodri differently. You'll start seeing football on a much deeper level. And if you're a midfielder, these are the exact qualities you can begin adding to your own game to become a smarter, more complete player. So let's uncover what really makes Rodri so special. The first attribute isn't his passing, it isn't his strength, and it definitely isn't his ability to tackle. In fact, it happens long before any of those things. Rodri sees the game before it happens. If you really want to understand Rodri, stop watching the ball, watch him. While everyone else follows the action, Rodri is constantly scanning the pitch. Every few seconds, he's checking over both shoulders. He's looking at teammates. He's looking at opponents. He's analyzing space. He's collecting information before the ball ever arrives. To most people, it looks like he's doing absolutely nothing. But that's exactly where his intelligence begins. Because football isn't just about reacting. It's about predicting. Rodri already knows where the danger is likely to come from before the pass is even played. That's why he always seems to be standing in exactly the right place. Most people think interceptions are about speed. They're not. They're about anticipation. Rodri doesn't chase the ball, he allows the game to come to him. By constantly scanning the pitch, he already knows which passing lane is most dangerous. Instead of sprinting after the ball, he simply closes the space before the opponent even realizes it's disappearing. That's why his interceptions look effortless. Not because they're easy, because they're prepared. This is also why you rarely see Rodri making desperate sliding tackles. Unlike many midfielders, he doesn't wait until danger appears before reacting. He prevents the danger from developing in the first place. Think about it. If you already know where the pass is going, why would you need to dive into a tackle? You simply arrive before the ball does. That's exactly what Rodri does time after time. Watch his body position. He's almost never square. He opens his body just enough to see both the ball and the runners around him. That tiny detail allows him to make better decisions than almost everyone else on the pitch. And here's another detail most people never notice. Rodri doesn't always try to win the ball immediately. Sometimes he waits, he delays. He invites the opponent to take one more touch. Why? Because that extra touch removes passing options. Now the attacker has fewer choices. Now Rodri knows exactly where the ball has to go. Only then does he step in. That isn't aggression, that's intelligence. His defending isn't based on strength, it's based on understanding. And because of that, Manchester City rarely looked exposed through the middle whenever Rodri played. He wasn't just protecting the defenders behind him, he was protecting the entire structure of the team. Every interception had a purpose. Every movement had a reason. Every defensive action created the opportunity for the next attack. And that's where the second attribute begins. Because winning the ball is only half of Rodri's job. The truly elite part is what he does with it next. Because winning the ball is only half of Rodri's job. The truly elite part is what he does with it next. Most people think of Rodri as a defensive midfielder, and that's true, but it's only half the story. Rodri doesn't just stop attacks, he starts them. In fact, some of Manchester City's most dangerous attacks didn't begin with Kevin De Bruyne. They didn't begin with Bernardo Silva. They didn't even begin with Erling Haaland. They began with Rodri. The moment he wins possession, he doesn't panic. He doesn't simply play the safest pass available. His head immediately comes up. Before most players are thinking about keeping the ball, Rodri is already thinking about hurting the opposition. His first question is never, who is closest to me. It's, where is the space? That's a huge difference, because football isn't won by the team that makes the most passes. It's won by the team that moves the opposition out of shape. And Rodri understands that better than almost anyone. Watch him after recovering possession. Notice how calm he stays. He doesn't rush the pass just because people are pressing him. He waits, sometimes for half a second, sometimes for one extra touch. That tiny delay is enough. Why? Because defenders are impatient. The moment one defender steps out to press him, a new passing lane opens somewhere else. That's the moment Rodri has been waiting for. Now he plays the pass. Not just any pass, the right pass. Sometimes it's a perfectly weighted ball between the midfield and defense. Sometimes it's a line-breaking pass that completely removes 3 or 4 players from the game. Sometimes it's a long diagonal switch that instantly creates space for the winger. And sometimes it's just a simple 10-yard pass that starts an entire move. Most fans only notice the final assist. Rodri sees the attack before it even begins. That's why he was so important to Manchester City's style of play. He wasn't simply connecting passes, he was controlling the rhythm of the entire match, knowing when to speed the game up, knowing when to slow it down, knowing when to switch play, knowing when to recycle possession. Those decisions rarely make the highlight reels, but they win football matches, and that's what separates great midfielders from world-class ones. But even that isn't Rodri's greatest quality. Because underneath everything we've discussed, there is one attribute that ties his entire game together, and it's probably the hardest one for young footballers to accept. Rodri makes football look unbelievably simple. Football has a funny way of making us believe that greatness has to look spectacular. The outrageous dribble, the impossible pass, the 30-yard screamer. Those moments are beautiful, but they're also rare. Rodri reminds us that elite football isn't about producing one moment of magic. It's about making the correct decision hundreds of times every game. Watch him receive the ball under pressure. Most players panic. Some force a difficult pass. Others try to dribble. Rodri does neither. He creates half a yard of space. He opens his body. He plays the simple pass, then he moves again and again and again. To some people, that looks ordinary. It's anything but ordinary, because simplicity requires confidence. It requires discipline. It requires trusting that the right decision is better than the exciting decision. That's why Rodri so rarely loses possession in dangerous areas. He doesn't play for the crowd. He plays for control. Every touch has a purpose. Every movement creates another passing option. Every simple decision makes life easier for the players around him. That's why Manchester City always looked calmer whenever Rodri was on the pitch. He wasn't just controlling the ball, he was controlling everyone else's decisions. And maybe that's the biggest lesson of all. The smartest footballers don't make the game harder. They make it look easier. So, what were we all missing? It wasn't just Rodri's passing. It wasn't just his interceptions, and it wasn't just his composure. It was the intelligence connecting all three. He reads the game before it unfolds. He turns defensive moments into attacking opportunities. And he understands that simplicity is often the highest level of football intelligence. That's why Rodri doesn't need to dominate the highlights, to dominate the match. Because while everyone else is reacting to football, Rodri is already one step ahead. If this video changed the way you see Rodri, imagine what you'll discover about the rest of football's greatest players. Here at Insane Football IQ, we don't just analyze football. We uncover the intelligence behind the world's best players, helping you see the game on a completely different level. And if you're a player yourself, helping you become a smarter footballer. If that's the kind of football content you've been looking for, subscribe and turn on notifications, because this is only the beginning. Next time, we're uncovering what made 2008 Cristiano Ronaldo one of the most unstoppable players the Premier League has ever seen. Not just because of his pace, not just because of his skill, but because of a football intelligence that most people never noticed. Until then, keep watching football differently.